The former Blues boss also attacked a Mr. Nice Guy figure within the club following his shock sacking on Tuesday.
Late in the evening, the former Chelsea boss was spotted for the first time since his sacking, and then he issued his angry statement. The statement says it seems to Mr. Vialli that his boss, Colin Hutchinson, lacked confidence in his conduct, which seems rather bizarre, since under Mr. Vialli's management, the club won 5 trophies in 2.5 years. Then Vialli goes on to further criticise an unnamed person at the club when he talks about taking full responsibility for managerial matters. However, these are responsibilities that Mr. Vialli believes should be shared by someone else. Someone who unfortunately was far too concerned about his image as Mr. Nice Guy than to give the support any manager would require. So draw your own conclusions. Back on the training ground, his former players were preparing for Europe tonight. Gianfranco Zola among them, but neither he or anyone from within the club will get the job. While Chelsea search for a successor, Graham Rix will be in temporary charge of tactics and team selection, assisted by Ray Wilkins.
It's not the first time that it's happened to a group of players, and it's probably not the first time it's happened to this group of players, because we have a number of senior players, therefore, that have been in this situation probably 2 or 3 times before in their careers, and they know what's ahead of them. They have to make sure that when the new manager comes in, whoever it may be, that they're playing well enough that they get picked. And that's a personal pride situation as far as they're concerned. And hopefully they'll take that onto every game and every pitch that we play on. They'll take that into consideration and make sure that they give it their best for the club and for themselves.
Much has been made of player power being behind Vialli's exit, although the club declined to elaborate. Certainly Frank Leboeuf was very public in his criticism of his former boss and was dropped from the team. Results too may have been a factor. Captain Dennis Wise says their disappointing start to the season means the players have to take at least some of the blame. But he insists, as they start their season's European campaign, they have the chance to put things right.
They know what they've got to do. I think we've lost the manager and in a situation where we've got an important game. And I think that's enough to motivate the players. And I think, I'm sure, they'll be up for it against St Gallen.
Aimé Jacquet, who led France to the World Cup, is being linked with the job. So too Johan Cruyff, the former Barcelona coach. Sven-Göran Eriksson may prove difficult to prize away from Lazio, but former England boss Terry Venables is the bookmaker's favourite, well versed as he is in domestic and continental matters.
We believe that we can go forward positively. We're in no hurry to make an appointment because we've got some excellent staff here, and we believe that the players, we've got an outstanding squad.
There's no doubt it's been a turbulent few days for Chelsea fans following the sacking of Gianluca Vialli. Last night's match gave them the perfect stage on which to express their views on the situation at the Bridge.
The fans at Stamford Bridge made it clear where their sympathies lie, chanting the name of their sacked manager during and after their UEFA Cup tie with St Gallen. And if they felt Gianluca Vialli had been hard done by, it seems some of the players share their feelings, not least goalscorer Christian Fanucci.
This is the first goal. I am very, very happy. I want dedication for Luca, because Luca for me is a good friend and a good trainer. I want dedication for you this goal.
Frank Leboeuf may not share those sentiments. He spoke out in the summer criticising Vialli. Now he's suffered the fans' wrath, booed at every touch. But for chairman Ken Bates, Vialli is now Chelsea history. And attention turns to finding his successor, with former Valencia coach Claudio Ranieri emerging as the favourite after he was spotted at the Bridge last night. Graham Rix and Ray Wilkins hold the reins in the meantime and would prefer an appointment to be made as soon as possible.
I think there's no question about that. That must happen, and the sooner that happens, the better. The guys will know they don't know whether they're coming or going at the moment. And as soon as that's sorted out, then I'm sure we'll see a very consistent level of performance.
Ken Bates, however, refuses to be rushed into a decision.
We'll be under pressure to make a decision for the sake of making a decision. We won't do that. And I know some of the supporters are disappointed or even upset at the fact that Luke is no longer with us. But all I can point out is, if you look at our record, with 1 or 2 exceptions back in the 80s, every decision we've made has been for the better.
One win from one in the post-Vialli era, though too soon to tell if Ken Bates' latest decision was indeed the right one.
To ask Mr. Bates, because Ranieri is not just here to take the money and the salary. He wants to be successful, and if he sees that the club has not the potential to build a team which can really compete for the top, both in England and in Europe, he'll probably decline and wait for the next opportunity. Although he never won the Serie A title, but he was always able to make the most out of troubled situations, because he took Cagliari up 3 divisions to Serie A. He took Fiorentina, who were in the second division, back to Serie A, and they won an FA Cup, an Italian Charity Shield with them. And then, of course, he took over Valencia in Spain. They were down with 0 points, and they finished eventually by qualifying for the Champions League and winning the Spanish FA Cup, also beating Real Madrid in Madrid and Barcelona in Barcelona.
Okay, so Claudio Ranieri looks set to succeed Gianluca Vialli as Chelsea manager. He's got a pretty impressive CV as well.
Yes, doesn't he? We'll tell you a few pointers then. He made his name as coach of Sardinian club Cagliari, guiding them from Serie C, I think you say,
yeah.
Serie A.
Okay, he then went and worked as Napoli coach. That was for 2 seasons when Gianfranco Zola played for the club.
He then joined Fiorentina in 1993, guiding them to promotion to Serie A, as well as Italian Cup and Super Cup victories in 96.
In 97, Ranieri moved to Valencia, winning the Spanish Cup, qualifying for the Champions League, before leaving for Atletico Madrid last summer.
And he resigned as Atletico coach in March.
Because he doesn't particularly like players whose main asset is skill. So he decided to sack Romario, for instance, when he was at Valencia, and even Ortega as well, the Argentinian striker. And instead, he started signing players who work very hard for the team. And he's also the main responsible for making of Mendieta a very skillful, or at least a very important midfielder internationally, because he, at the time that Ranieri arrived at Valencia, he was a right back. And the same with Angulo, who's become a very offensive midfielder. So he's the main responsible for Valencia. And what Chelsea have got and have signed is mainly a tactician who loves the defensive. So it's going to be interesting to see how the sort of catenaccio Italian style of game does fit with the flair, or the usual flair we're used to at Chelsea.
Well, the club say that one of the reasons for sacking Vialli is they wanted to change of direction. Can he provide this, do you think?
Well, totally. In two different ways, I think. One is because he's a master tactician. He's a clever guy who knows football very well. He's very experienced. So that's an obvious change of direction, because Vialli didn't have all that experience. And secondly, Vialli did like a little bit the football that he practiced when he was a player, with flair, offensive, quick. And Ranieri will first of all make sure that defensively Chelsea supported before trying any other adventure in attack. So basically what we're going to see is about 5 defenders in the back, 3 midfielders who work very, very hard, 2 in the wings, and then at least 1 very quick forward and a typical striker, which will be Hasselbank. So defense first of all, and secondly counter-attack. That's the game he likes playing.
Now, obviously, he knows Zola and Hasselbank. He's worked with both of them. That's got to be good, hasn't it?
Oh, well, I mean, the side that he's going to inherit is it's a very good side, obviously, and the fact that he's going to have so many options up front does mean that he's going to have to obviously choose, because you won't get so many forwards with him, but he's going to have different options. He knows Hasselbank from his time at Atletico de Madrid, and basically he kept saying all the time, if it wasn't for Hasselbank, Atletico Madrid will be in the second division. And he's a frank man. He's one who would say what he thinks to the press and to everybody who wants to listen. And that's why he kept saying at his time at Atletico Madrid that the club was a club like an ill man and an old man as well, who needed to recover. And it wasn't going to take 2 weeks. The thing is, he just realized that the ship was going down, and he just wanted to get out before he went down with it.
Was he well respected at the club?
He was well respected, maybe not so much at Atletico Madrid, where I think he failed to feel close to what Atletico Madrid represented. But he's got a high prestige for what he did at Valencia. He was about to be sacked only about 8 months into the job, but the president Pedro Cortés kept him. And as we're saying, a part of the reason why Valencia got to the final of the Champions League is because of him, because he changed the side completely, and he did it successfully.
And what's his English like, Guillem?
Good question. If I talked to him, I would talk in either Italian or Spanish, but I don't know. That's the answer. I think Chelsea will have made sure that his grasp of English is he has to be good. This is a cultured man. This is a man who is not how can we say soft or simple. He's a man with knowledge, and I think a little bit of English he will have.
Do you think he's going to be able to cope with some of those egos at Chelsea?
And that's, I think, the main reason. I think 2 reasons Chelsea have signed him. One, because he was unemployed, so there was no much problem with him. And secondly, because he was known at his time at Valencia as the Roman sergeant, which does tell you that he likes discipline. And as you say, those big egos at Chelsea are going to have to be disciplined if they want to be in his side. He, as we were saying before, he did sacked actually Romario when he wasn't at the peak of his game, but he will still provide few goals. And the same with Ortega, because Ortega came in a couple of training sessions. So if someone behaves like that, he's gonna act very toughly.
So the Chelsea players are going to have to be on their best behaviour from now on.
Indeed, no more drinking. I don't know if they do that actually, but
of course
in any case,
don't.
No, they don't. No. But with him, it's going to be also. I mean, things are going to change. It's very much like Arsene Wenger. He's going to change the way they eat, the way they drink, and what they do. I mean, he likes to know what the players are up to every day.
Okay, Guillem, thank you very much for joining us on the line.